Singapore is a multiracial, multi-religious city-state that drew much of its citizenry from near and far over 2 centuries to be what it is today. Diverse, varied, but still unified by a common spirit, the Indian Muslims have played some key roles and contributed to the society. They became an integral part of Singapore's landscape, notably in commerce, journalism, language, law and order, religion, philanthropy, sport and the arts. This is a story of a small community of many languages, multiple identities and a shared aspiration as Singaporeans. This is the story of Singapore's Indian Muslims.
Classic story of the immigrant story.
The arrival of Sir Stamford Raffles on board here in 1819. There must be a small community of Indian businessmen, traders, and who else coming and settling in Singapore.
That was after a lot of Indians were chased out of Burma, so they found their way to Singapore because of the Singapore being a British colony. And India was also a British colony, so a lot of Indians used to come to Singapore and other neighbouring countries. I think Singapore was known as Malay at that time.
Grandfather came with a group of UP people, including the father of Mustaq, who is the boss of Mustafa Center today.
The initial Malayali Muslims who came to Singapore were traders. Every immigrant story is quite similar. All want a good life. Many of them came as single men who actually wanted to have a good life and had only one thing in mind, that is to go back to India, buy a plot of land, get married, have kids.
Then came a point in time where the men decided to stay on in Singapore because it's a good place to make your home, and that's when the family started coming into Singapore. Of course, granted, they come into a new country, very different from what they were used to back home, language, the multi-racial environment, so they needed to get used to that new environment. So of course there was a point in time where women went back into the household, but slowly as they get more familiar with their environment, they started coming out again and started contributing to the economy and the society.
Indian Muslims have by and large been playing a very significant role as merchants and traders long before the arrival of the British and the European traders, all right?
The Indian Muslim community has a glorious past. In fact, they have contributed quite significantly to the community and country. Our forefathers that came to Singapore had established niche businesses and also ran the businesses very successfully. And they have not forgotten their obligation to their religion and community.
If you take Raffles Place, Chulia Street, Market Street and Boat Quay, which is the prominent area, 80% of the population was more or less Indians. I can safely say that, because the 20% that were there were basically people who were running the Singapore River boat operators, warehouse places that were around Boat Quay. So the majority of the residents living in Market Street, Chulia Street and Raffles Place were Indians.
I have to thank my late father, my great grandfather is from Nagaur, India. So my father came to Singapore. We are the pioneer now. As Piche, we do in my father's shop. We got 4 shop houses. Doing import export. for a quite very long time they've been doing. So the only thing that I cannot speak is I cannot speak Tamil.
But those who stayed in Singapore, they had creative ways to survive. Many had provision shops, they became provision shop owners. Some worked in mess. Those days, police mess means police canteen. They had coffee shops. So they were actually traders in that respect. In the early 50s, many also became professionals. My father-in-law, one of them became an accountant from bookkeeping, my father a stenographer. So those days, the spirit of self-help is one of those things that was very prevalent among the community.
ஒரு வட்டாரத்தில் குடியிருந்தாலும் சீனர்களுடையும் மலாய்க்கார சிறுவர்களுடையும் நம்ம வந்து கலந்து பேசுகிறது உண்டு, பழகிறது உண்டு, பந்து விளையாடுறது உண்டு, விளையாட்டு போட்டிகள் இந்த மாதிரிலாம் வந்து ஒன்றா தான் நம்ம கலந்து கொள்வோம். ஒரு வீட்டில் வந்து ஏதாவது வந்து ஒரு விசேஷ தினங்கள் சுப தினங்கள் நடந்தால், திருமண நிகழ்ச்சி நடந்தால் கூட நாங்கள் வந்து அதை உணவை சமைச்சு, ஏன்னா இந்தியர்களுக்கு மட்டும் இல்லாமல் சீனர்களுக்கும் மலாய்க்காரர்களுக்கும் அண்டை விட்டார்களுக்கும் போய் நாங்கள் வந்து விநியோகம் பண்ணுறதை வந்து ஒரு வழக்கமாக கொண்டிருந்தோம். அந்த கம்பத்து உணர்வு எங்கள்கிட்ட வந்து தலை தூக்கி இருந்தது, மேலோங்கி இருந்தது. அந்த கம்பத்து உணர்வு வந்து இன்றைக்கு வந்து அடுக்குமாடி வீடுகளில் நம்ம வந்து பெருவாரியாக வாழ்கிறதுனால அந்த கம்பத்து உணர்வு வந்து நம்ம வந்து பெற முடியல. இருந்தாலும் அந்த சுகமான ஒரு நினைவுகளில் வந்து இன்றைக்கி நம்ம வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்கிற முடியுது.
One of the beautiful things is the people I cannot forget, and people would never have had an experience, is people today, I mean, because there's a place called, at Northbridge Road, where there's a place called Kandahar Street. Kandahar Street in the 60s and 70s, they were lined with shops, mee goreng shops, murtaba shops. They don't have big shops like what they have now. They're all in the streets, you know. Early in the morning, they do their business, and once in a year when the festival thing comes along, so these guys, what they do is at night, they put planks above all the shops, they put planks above it to put some vinyl stuff, and then they fix up some lights and fix some PA system, and it becomes a stage. I've sat on those shops and actually performed when I was a boy. So this kind of experiences, you won't get it now. It was like a very raw and rock thing.
During the fasting month, it was something very special for us because we had the whole street was cordoned off at Market Street. All the stalls used to be there. The stalls were frequented by both Muslims and non-Muslims. And the same thing when the Hindus were celebrating their Thaipusam, when Thaipusam used to be a holiday in Singapore, we found that the chariots and the crowd used to go along Market Street and Chula Street. This was some of the times that we also enjoyed. This is something that some of our children may not be able to see, the current generation may not be able to see this.
These people who are Indian Muslim, they are businessmen on one end or something, or they're good at selling food stuff. And most of the guys who are into business like that, selling food and all that, biryani or whatever, they have a passion for music. And these are the guys who actually supported music, not the big so-called corporate powers. No? These guys, whatever they earn, they save the money. At the end of the day, they put up a show, they fund you, and that's how we all started playing.
Nagaur Dargah Indian Muslim Heritage Center, the only of its kind in the world, I presume, holds valuable lesson for our young people. It's always good to reflect on what our pioneers have done,